Hi, this is another edition of the Arsenal Fan Corner episode on Footy with Podcast. It's so sad and so solemn. Starting the episode in this kind of energy or with this kind of energy. It's not news. Arsenal lost to Southampton at the St. Mary's today by 1-0. Commiseration to all Arsenal fans for the loss. And congratulations, Southampton. I saw a tweet during the week. What's his name again? Let me quickly search for that tweet. It was I'm sure it was being sarcastic when he tweeted that tweet. And he said, sorry, while Obinho. I don't know if you know Obinho. Sorry, apologies, Okwe. I'm not alone on today's episode. Okwe is here with me, my fellow Arsenal fan. Okwe, what's up? How you doing?
Very well, thank you. It's good to be doing this once again, but doing it on a sad note, I must say. It's quite unfortunate that the circumstances around us doing this episode, but yeah, it is what it
Yeah.
is. So I'm good to go.
Apologies for not introducing you though. I
No
think
worries, no worries.
I was just
No, yeah, in the
I was I
spirit,
was
don't worry.
I was caught off with my intro because I had my intro set up already concerning
Yeah,
today's
no
episode
worries.
on this Arsenal Fan Corner episode. But straight away, let me just go back to my intro. So there was a tweet by I don't know if you know this guy, Obinho, on Twitter.
Very familiar with him. I follow him.
So he tweeted on Wednesday, a
Okay.
precursor to the game. And he said Southampton have lost their 4 matches in a row at St. Mary's. And there was a
Mm,
reply that I saw to that tweet that really got me worried,
mm,
of which the reply was, let me try and look for that reply. I need to quote that reply.
mm.
And the reply was, that's where Arsenal come in.
Well, what do you know? Seems like that person could see the future.
That's where Arsenal come in. And it
Yeah,
happened today in our
yeah.
faces, just
Mm-hmm.
momentarily after Tottenham lost at home to Brighton Hove and Albion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel everything just switched to us again. The momentum switched to us again for the race for the top four.
Yeah.
Are we really serious? Do we really want to take it? Do we really, really wanted to take that match? And the first half was appalling. Second
Mm.
half, yes, the boys tried to come back, but it wasn't good enough. Let's just move straight to the starts of the game. I'm sharing
Mm.
it. I don't know if you can see it right now.
Yeah.
Arsenal had 23 shots, while Southampton had 9. 6 on target, 3 on target for Southampton. We just scored 1. Possession
Mm.
76 to 24%. Passes 653 to 208 to that of Southampton. Pass
Mm.
accuracy 88%, 60% to Southampton. Fouls 6-6. They shared the spoils there. Yellow card, Southampton had 2 yellow cards. Arsenal had 1. Red card 0-0. Offside, Southampton had 2 offside. And Arsenal had 8 corners compared to that of Southampton 6.
Mm.
Okay, what happened? Because this episode is just a reaction to the match. It's been a while we had the Arsenal fan corner episode, but we just wanted to have one today, and we're reacting to Southampton versus Arsenal's match that ended 1-0 in favor of Southampton.
Mm. Well, first of all, I would say that a football match is won by the team who takes most of their chances. And out of 3 shots on target, Southampton were able to convert 1. And Arsenal, out of 6 shots on target, they were not able to convert any of them. If you take a comparison between the total shots Arsenal had compared to the shots on target, it's quite worrisome, if you ask me. And I think that just
Mm-hmm.
further boils down to the lack of a standard striker. And then this, you then think about the fact that Arsenal willingly shipped out Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, taking a huge risk without bringing in another striker. Yeah, we know there
Yeah.
was a bit of a back and forth trying to get Dusan Vlahovic through the door, but I mean, at the end of the day, he chose Juventus, and it seemed like he always wanted to go to Juventus. That's what it just looked
Well,
like. I mean,
let me just chip in there. Sorry for buttoning in. I'll just have
yeah,
to cut you there. With the benefit of hindsight, right now, do you
mm,
feel the Vlavic. What's wrong with my screen? Do you think the Vlavic deal was more like a smoke screen?
No, I don't think so. So I mean, I got intel from um a scout
I
who
hope we're
works
not
in.
digressing. I hope we're not
No,
digressing.
no, no,
But
no. It's really
I
not
just
digressing. It's just to just put further clarity as to this current situation right now. That's what it is really. So just like I was saying before, I got intel from an agent who works closely with Dusan Vlahovic representatives, and really the truth is that Arsenal had been cutting the striker as far back as October last year, right? But then they could only make things formal in November. But then again, the agents of the striker were aware. The striker himself then became aware. He also considered Arsenal, but immediately Juventus came in. It seemed like there was no other option for him. As far as Dusan
mm,
Vlahovic is concerned, Juventus number one is the best club in Italy. Number two, you know, he thought about Champions League football. He's 22 years old. He's doing very very well for himself, I must say. Currently, he's got 22 goals in all competitions, if I'm not mistaken.
did he score
Um,
today? Because I know I was watching their
yeah, he
match. I
scored.
don't know
He
what
scored
happened.
today. He scored the equalizer. He scored the equalizer. Late minute goal. Because Juventus were about to lose the game, but then he scored the last match equalizer, and he's currently the second highest goal scorer in Syria. So doing very well for himself, and he had, I mean, playing well for his country as well. So it made all the sense in the world to remain in a country whereby he is in good form. He's got good people around him, and then he's going to play for the best team. Just unfortunate of Arsenal who couldn't spread their tentacles elsewhere to bring in another top class striker. So that's just what it is. But I feel the major mistake was letting Aubameyang go when he did.
Yeah.
That was a major mistake, no doubt about that. And as the Yorubas would say, Aye, Uyole. So it's quite clear that they're missing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, or rather, they're missing a world class striker.
Because really, it's a pathetic that it's pathetic to see how we have moved from a team that was in form starting 2020. We only lost to Manchester City, not
Mm,
until the Liverpool game, and seeing how we've won against Aston Villa at home, no
yeah.
away to Aston Villa,
Mm,
away to Wolves, home and away back to back, winning Wolves, and also
mm,
impressive performance winning Leicester City, and everything just dipped after the international break. We could say
mm,
because of the injury to Karen
yeah.
Tierney
Yeah.
and Thomas Partey. So someone would say it was a curse, it was a Nigerian
Mm,
curse to Thomas Partey for taking the World Cup tickets away from us. But it is what it is.
mm-hmm,
But now I really, really, really want us to be technical because looking at today's game and looking at our games, our past few games, it shows that we've been bereft in the striking department. And letting
mm,
Aubameyang go, like you said, was a very big mistake, which a chunk of Arsenal fans would not agree to that because they felt Aubameyang's time at Arsenal was time up, was
mm,
over. His time was up.
yeah.
But now we could see it's coming to bite us in our butts. It's coming to bite Arteta and whoever made that decision to offload players in January and not strengthening. A typical
Yeah.
example I would cite is Tottenham, which is our neighbor in London over there, not
Mm,
London. Despite how Conte kept coming out to the press that he didn't have the players that could execute what he wants, but it was
mm,
being backed, and he
yeah.
loaned and bought one from Juventus, and we could see the significant addition those two players
Mm.
have added to Tottenham. Though despite they were shitty today, according
Well,
to what we saw.
were they really? I just feel Brighton was the better side, if we're being
That's what I'm
honest.
saying. Tottenham was shitty today. They were shitty. They couldn't win. And where I want to start is Arteta and his guys would have seen the results.
Yeah.
90 minutes, Brighton lost. Brighton won at Tottenham
Mm-hmm.
Stadium.
Yeah.
And now the momentum shifts back to us. The question I want to ask is whatever they might have prepared towards the game, which was because I
Mm.
saw that formation as a conservative formation for me. It was
Mm.
too conservative. We're playing Southampton that have lost 4 straight matches at Southampton. The confidence was not there. Yeah,
Mm.
despite we two were looking for confidence, trying to come back from 2 straight loss. we were two teams that were bereft of confidence today. It was so obvious. So why
Mm-hmm.
why couldn't Arteta and his guys scrap whatever they might have planned for the game and just
Yeah.
go all attacking? The game was there for us to win. And I didn't
Mm.
understand that conservative style of football, passing to the left, passing to the right, and we couldn't go through the middle. Do you think Arteta should have done otherwise, seeing the result that happened at the Tottenham Stadium earlier before the match?
Yeah. Well. First of all, what baffled me is the fact that Martinelli and Saka were playing on direct wings, meaning Martinelli was playing on the right wing, Saka was playing on the left wing, and that
Yeah.
diminishes any bit of creativity or spark, really. And yeah, it baffled me because it seemed like he was trying to play safe. And while you're trying to play safe against Southampton, knowing their recent home form, I
Come
think
on.
he made the players a bit too conservative in the first half, although the players did try their best to spring up chances in the first half. Nketiah had one or two chances he could have put away. There was a major chance in which Martinelli placed the ball for Saka after Nketiah broke play. But for
Yep.
me, Nketiah should have been more aware, because if he had released the ball to Saka much earlier, I believe Saka would have buried the chance. But then he was just sticking to one side, gave the ball to Martinelli. Thankfully, Martinelli was still able to find Saka, and Saka on his weak foot sadly was not able to place the ball on the ground. He placed the ball in the air right where Fraser Foster wants to see
I
it,
think
and
it
Fraser
was
Foster.
Martinelli that did this. It was Martinelli that did the square play.
Yeah, Martinelli did the square play, but
Yeah.
because the ball was taken out of the possession of Southampton, and it was in Nketiah that broke um, that ball
That
in
play.
play
Yeah.
from Southampton.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, aside that, um, I was wondering why he didn't tell Martinelli and Saka to switch wings earlier in the game. They had to wait till the end of the first half, and then they began the second half fine. You could say renewed. I'm not going to say they were all guns blazing, firing on all cylinders. That's not it. You could just say they were renewed and they
Hmm.
knew that they had to take 3 points. And then in the process, like Arsenal will get caught out on numerous occasions. While clearing from the corner, you need to clear the ball effectively. You don't just clear
Yeah.
the ball symbolically. And the players didn't have enough concentration and enough patience to actually see out the danger. In doing that,
For
they
me,
allowed.
I feel Cedric was shitty today, man. Cedric
Yeah.
was
Sincerely
was
speaking,
was out of sorts.
every time Cedric has represented Arsenal playing against Southampton, he's not really at his best. I always feel like he plays like he has a point to prove, and it's always to the detriment of the team. If I'm being particularly honest, I believe he was trying to do too much, especially with the set pieces. I was wondering why Cedric was allowed to take set
Set
pieces.
pieces were shambolic.
Seemed quite absurd
Were
to
sh-
me when you have
yeah.
someone like Xhaka, Odegaard, and even Martinelli. Martinelli is better at set pieces. For me, Martinelli has delivered an assist from a corner. So
Hmm.
allowing Cedric on set pieces, I really don't understand where that came from. So I mean, due to the lack of concentration and not being able to avert danger the way they should, they conceded. But then immediately I can. One thing about Arteta is that, funny enough, anytime Arsenal gets in a tough situation in a match, Arteta always makes the right substitutions. I must give that to him. Okay, so immediately he responded instead of waiting a few more minutes, taking off Cedric, bringing on Smith Rowe, and then as the match went on, brought on Pepe, and tried to
Well,
go all out attack.
I feel the Smith Rowe substitution should have come later. Shouldn't have come
Mm.
before Pepe because I didn't see any impact Smith Rowe made in that game.
Well, he
To be
well
sincere, I didn't see
he
any
tried.
impact.
He tried because a lot of passage of play, immediately when he came in, everyone kept putting the ball through his left side, and then he was able to whip in two crosses. Sadly, no one was able to be at the back end of it. And then for the rest of the game, he was just basically trying to string up play. And for
I
someone
think
who
the only
likes
time I saw
to
him was that ball he attempted to score and Foster
true,
saved.
true,
Yeah.
true. And then apart from that, Smith Rowe's preferred style of play is going through the middle and
Mm.
taking advantage of those minute spaces. And really, there was no minute space for any Odegaard or Smith to take advantage of, because Southampton were absolutely on their A game at the defense. I mean, not starting Salisu, I was quite surprised. I won't lie, I was quite surprised they didn't start
Hmm.
Salisu. They didn't start Livramento either. But then they had a solid back four which was good for them. And I mean, one of the back four members was the person that scored the winning goal, talking about Jan Bednarek. So, look, kudos to Southampton. They played well. A 4-5-1 formation. More or less, it felt like a five at the back because you had Jan Valery, who was just slightly
Yeah.
ahead of Kyle Walker Peters. So it was a well thought out plan from Ralph Hasenhuttl. Hats off to him. He did a good job. He got the 3 points that were needed, and he seems to have changed the fortunes at St. Mary's Stadium.
We're gonna look at this guy. I don't know what's wrong with my mouse. The mouse is just. Poof. Anyways, we're focusing on Arteta because really, this is the second full season, and the first season that he joined Arsenal was he joined midway into the season, finished
Mm,
eighth, FA
yeah.
Cup victory. Second
Mm,
season took us to the semi-finals of the Europa League, lost out to
mm,
Villarreal, and also finished eighth. Now it's a full season. He got backed up. He got backed financially, spending close
mm,
to over £100 million to bring in new players. But it's just a
mm.
pity the players that we're signing are just kind of like injury prone. I don't know why this is happening at this time of the season because really,
Injury prone. I think the major injury prone players are probably just Tomiyasu and Pate. And Pate really aggravated an existing injury, if we're being honest.
yeah,
Pate was rushed back into action. I mean, he played two grueling back-to-back games for Ghana, and then he was put back right into the team, obviously because he was needed.
yeah, because whoever takes the brunt right now is the manager, is Arteta, is responsible
Mm,
for the team. Whatever happened today, if he had picked the 3 points, we would have held him. He
mm,
lost, so we're still gonna. The box lies on this table because
mm.
three successive defeats is
Yeah.
damaging to any team fighting for the top four, especially a young team that we have currently. Yes, they've not been
Mm,
in this position of predicament before.
yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying we are ahead of the program, we're ahead of the process. This is not what it meant to be. Looking at the way
Mm.
we started the season, losing three straight games,
Ahead
we
of the
went
process, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely
so
ridiculous. I don't
so
know
I
what kind of people have
well,
such.
you know, there's some Arsenal fans that they feel we're asking for too much as supporters of one of the
Mm,
biggest teams in England. Looking at our
yeah,
record, Arsenal remains the third most successful team in England. So I don't know
yeah,
if it's a big task or if we're asking for something that big for us to be competing in the EPL, for us to be
mm,
competing in the Champions League, and also for us to be winning trophies. So to say we are ahead of the process, we're just supposed to be competing for the fourth or top four position in the EPL. Granted,
mm,
okay, accepted. Now, what I'm saying is the point I'm trying to ask, or the question I'm trying to ask here is really, is Arteta out of his depth? Is Arteta out of his depth? Because I know I've asked this question before. I've
mm,
asked, and we've talked about this in our subsequent episode of the Arsenal fan corner, and also even in our EPL review. But I just want to bring it up again because to me, is looking at Arteta is out of his depth, really, because when it comes to the critical part of the season, there
mm,
is something that he just doesn't know how to handle it, and all the cards just fall off. Typical example last season, we were in the semi-final of the Europa League.
yeah,
Whatever the situation he had with the Boomerang then, he tweaked the tactics, and we were playing a false nine in
mm,
Saka. I don't know if you remember.
yeah, clearly,
And Europa League seems to be the only route into Champions League. Winning Europa League last season seems to be the only route into the Champions League qualification.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
we are in the mix for the type fight for the top four. We see teams around us falling. We have a game in hand, supposed game in hand, which we're going to
mm,
have on Wednesday. And I know we'll definitely get beat by Chelsea if we perform the way we perform today against
mm,
Southampton. I think is right now. It's better we just take our L right now and just
yeah.
just already
In fact,
surrender.
I see Arsenal losing the next three games as well because they've got Chelsea, they've got Manchester United, and they've got West Ham. So I don't see them
Yeah,
picking
but
points from those games.
the sad thing is football is not predictable. Anything can happen,
True,
like they say,
true.
in the 90 minutes. But the point I'm trying to bring out here is should Arsenal give Arteta the chance? Because right now I'm Arteta out. Regardless of whatever anybody wants to say, regardless of whoever wants to argue with me,
I never thought
or
I'll hear you say that.
No, because it has gotten to that point because it
Yeah.
seems when it gets to the squeaky bomb time, he just tends to lose it. He just
Mm,
doesn't seem to have a grip of everything happening around him. Fair
mm,
enough, we could say injuries to Partey, injury to Partey, and injury to Tierney.
yeah.
But does that really mean? And this takes us back to the decision that was made in January, offloading players
Yeah.
and not adding to the squad. I didn't see how
Mm,
they were going to go through the remaining 18 games because in January we played 20 games, remaining
yeah.
18 games with 16 senior players.
Mm,
Now, should Arteta, if Arsenal had a serious owner like Ibrahimovic of Chelsea,
mm,
who is no more the owner
mm,
though, but someone in the
yeah.
mode of Ibrahimovic, do you think Arteta should still be the manager of Arsenal?
If Roman Abramovich was the manager of Arsenal Football Club, Mikel Arteta, rather, if Roman Abramovich was the owner of Arsenal Football Club, Mikel Arteta would have been sacked last season, not even this season. He wouldn't have made it past last season, right? And
Yeah,
then, like I've said before in subsequent episodes, I've said that as far as I'm concerned, the major objective for Mikel Arteta this season was to secure top four football. Why is that? Number one, he had a good summer behind him. He was
mm.
given money and he spent it how he deemed fit between he and Edu. Um, what else? No Europa League football, so there really was no excuse.
We
The
were out
first,
of all competitions as of
yeah, yeah.
January.
So
We were out of
August,
all
August,
competition.
yeah, August, August, September. So okay, up until first September, October, November, they just had extra games which came in from the Carabao Cup. So they had a decent run in the Carabao Cup, and then because of the exits and allowing certain players just leave the club anyhow, lack
Yeah,
of squad depth, you had to even at the return leg at the Emirates playing against Liverpool, a returning Thomas Partey who just came back from international break with
from
Ghana,
AFCON.
you
Yeah,
put
from
him back
AFCON.
into the from AFCON, you put him back into the team, and then obviously he wasn't 100% to play that game mentally, and then he got a red card, and that was the end of that. So okay, you're out of the Carabao Cup early. You've got a first round exit at the FA Cup. You didn't even progress much further. So really, there's no excuse. You then had all these games, but then the major problem number one had to be lack of squad depth, quality. Obviously, that's another thing. And with,
Yep.
with this current Arsenal squad, whenever the first team players are not available, it's a problem for Arsenal. One, Lacazette has not been converting chances. He has not, and his placements in games has been abysmal.
Ridiculous. Seriously.
He's what I mean. He's just what about 30 years old. 4 goals in Premier League games, and then you've got a 36-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo who has 22 goals in all competitions. I'm not trying to compare them, but I'm just saying, look, see the difference in age, and look at the way Ronaldo has been able to transition his career after that horrific knee injury. And then
Mm.
what else? Look, long story short, Ateta out. That's just it for me. If they're not able to secure top four, a top four finish and secure Champions League football at the end of the season,
But
they will be
it seems to
because
have a backing. It
letting
seems to
go
have,
of the players, letting go of the
yeah,
players in January and not bringing anybody in was
yeah.
his decision. It's absolutely his decision between he and Edu. They wanted to offload players. They wanted to reduce the wage bill. Fine, no worries. That was their call. That was their decision, and they are the reasons why the squad was that lean and lacking
Hmm.
quality. So it's up to them. And as far as I'm concerned, Pateta is going. Edu might as well go.
Really, because the surprising thing is he has the backing of the management. The management are
Seems
so
like it
confident in him,
for now.
and
For now.
for now, and it's going to be a big task for if it was to be a serious-minded club. If it was a club that was
Mm,
serious, whatever had happened in the past few games, let alone should raise an alarm and everybody
of
start
course.
talking because we have managers out there who are
Hmm.
out of job. Zidane, for example, yes, we know he's eyeing the French national team job after the
Yeah.
World Cup. There is Mancini, Roberto Mancini is there. Ever
Mm,
the good stints he had with Italy had to come to an end, but he's available.
yeah. Yeah.
He's an experienced manager. I'm going to use Tottenham as
Yeah.
an example. See what Conte is doing. I don't like Tottenham for one thing, but we could see what we can see what Conte. We could see the experience that comes with a manager that knows his onions. I feel Arteta
Mm.
is just still, like a child in a
A
in a
lot of rookie
prom, like a child
mistakes.
playing.
Yeah, a lot of rookie
A lot of
mistakes,
rookie
and
mistakes.
then Arsenal sadly is his testing ground. But
So we're
that
like
was
we're
the
like a
decision
guinea
of the board.
pig. We're like a guinea pig for whatever Arteta
Exactly,
is trying to achieve in his managerial career, and
exactly.
it's so abysmal for a team like Arsenal, who've been ridiculed. Imagine Manchester United fans ridiculing us today because they are the same point and goal difference ahead of us right now.
Mm,
Though despite we have two games in hand, but
yeah,
still it's not good enough. I'm not confident into the match against Manchester United and against Chelsea. The next match against
neither am
Chelsea, I
I.
am not confident. The next match we're playing at home against Manchester United, I am not confident at all.
Mm,
So I don't know what Arteta is going to do to bring these guys back up, but I just feel it's time as Arsenal is done. Because if we could
yeah.
bundle Emery out without giving Emery the chance, without giving Emery the time, I don't know
Mm.
why we're doing this with Arteta. Really,
Well,
I
you
I
could
don't
say
know.
that. I think it's just based on sentiments. The fact that he's a former Arsenal player. He's not even an Arsenal legend in my books.
He's not. Yeah, he's not.
Exactly. And then I think the potential was just there. And after sacking Emery, I believe the board were just of the decision that look, let's hire a long-term manager, someone
Yeah.
that we can trust and can set things right. Because I mean, Emery being in charge, a lot of things were wrong in the dressing room. That's just it. Emery did not really have a
Yeah.
command of the dressing room. So
No,
that was the problem.
credit to Arteta. He's done a fantastic job behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Setting the team, setting the club back to the culture. Doing a whole
yeah.
lot of background thing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that's where he belongs. Possibly, with all
Mm,
due respect to him, possibly
yeah.
that is where he belongs. He doesn't have
Mm,
a stake in managing the first team
mm,
at the moment. He doesn't have what it takes in terms of experience, in terms of everything a manager needs.
yeah.
And when you see players like Genduzi, players like
Mm,
Saliba, players like
mm.
Robo, what's his name, the Greek guy in Germany's
Mavropanos.
Stuttgart right now, Mavropanos, doing well. And I'm surprised when Ateta would come out and say they are not good enough.
Mm,
Yes, we understand the league where they are playing. It's the French league.
mm,
You can't compare the French league to that of to the EPL. But whenever I
yeah.
see Gunduzi play, I love his style of play. I love the passion.
Mm.
I love the
I don't think
enthusiasm.
for those set of players, it's never been a case of them being not good enough. I mean, for Guendouzi, obviously there was a clear fallout between Guendouzi and Arteta. Guendouzi seemed to be unruly to Arteta, and Arteta was not having it. So if you're not going to conform to Arteta's
So
customs,
so this is it.
you shown
This
out
is
the door.
another thing that pisses me off because as a
Mm,
manager, you should understand everybody cannot be the same. All players
true.
cannot be the same. There are players that will run ragged. There are players that will be so uncouth. There are so uncouth. There are players that
Mm.
will be rude based on based on how would you call them, the alpha male, or you
No,
have the alpha male?
really, for Guendouzi's situation, it was also linked to Ozil, because when Ozil was still at the club under Arteta, in a way,
Mm.
Ozil had his own faction in the dressing room as well. And if we're being honest, every player that seemed to be in the Ozil faction has been let out the door. Starting off with Ozil himself, Guendouzi, and then Kolasinac. So
I just feel
it's a no-brainer. I believe Arteta was just trying to put his house in order, talking about the dressing room, and he
I
did
just
that
feel
perfectly.
in my own opinion, I feel man management,
Yeah,
man
you can
management.
you can definitely question Arteta's band management
I'm,
because
I'm gonna question it.
I mean since he took over, I mean the amount of fallout he has had with players, um I don't know. I think the rate is too much. He should really take a cue from Steven Gerrard. When Steven
Mm.
Gerrard got into management, first of all, did not even start up in England, went all the way to Scotland, coaching a top tier team in Rangers Football Club, got them to win the Scottish Premiership for the first time in 10
For the
years.
first time, yeah, yeah.
And now he's back in the Premier League, but not running
Hmm.
to Liverpool with a good enough team in Aston Villa. He's doing a great job with them. He changed their style of play. They're definitely playing much better than when they were under Dean Smith. Although credit to Dean Smith for bringing in certain players, but from the first transfer window which we just had in January, it's quite
Mm.
clear the type of players that Steven Gerrard can attract to the football club, and his style of play is quite clear as well. So I mean, so far so good.
Yeah, I
So
know
maybe
this is supposed to be This is supposed to be a reaction to the Southampton Arsenal match, but I
Yeah.
know we're digressing. But a lot of things are planning out because
Mm.
this has been an aftermath of ever since Arteta took over. Really, because for me, one of the things that I see he fails to do, he fails to
Mm.
play to the player's strength. You manage to the player's strength. You
Mm.
don't manage because you want them to fit a particular style. The only
Mm.
time you could do that is when you have the plethora of players, more like the
Yeah.
way Guardiola does with Man City. The
Mm.
Guardiola can come up with different a different squad with the depth he has currently,
Yeah.
because Guardiola can decide to come up with a multiple of 11 teams with the
Mm.
total number of players he has currently.
Yeah.
And I tell you, you don't have that luxury. Right now,
Mm.
you're assigned to do a job. So what you're
Mm.
supposed to do is to do the job, get Arsenal back to where they are with the
Yeah.
players. I know you didn't like some players because some players were forming faction and all that, but you can
Mm.
tell me, look at Aubameyang. He's a typical example. Yes, he had a bad game against Stuttgart in the Europa League, or Frankfurt rather. He
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
but you could see Xavi plays to the strength of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He got in and he started scoring goals, but he wasn't doing that under Arteta. Same as Pepe, Nicolas Pepe.
Yeah.
You knew
Yeah.
that was going to be today's match. We need
Mm.
firepower in front. There was nothing bad if he started Nicolas Pepe today in today's game. You go
Mm.
for the kill. Imagine if he had scored first today against Southampton. I'm sure
Mm.
confidence level for Southampton will drop because
Yeah.
it was all about who was going to score first because both
Mm.
teams were short of confidence. But today's
Yeah.
game, we just needed someone to score first, and they scored
Mm.
first,
Yeah.
despite we missed chances. But it is what it is. It's just so painful right now because three straight successive defeats, and I just want to share the table with you here right now.
Mm.
Looking at the first eight, we know the first two is secured, but Chelsea, Tottenham, Chelsea too, kind of like they're secured right now in that third
Yeah.
spot. Tottenham, Manchester United, Arsenal. Ever since the last time we won the episode, three different teams had occupied this fourth position. That's
Mm.
between Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham. We just keep
Yeah.
rotating. The last
Mm.
week, Tottenham was in fourth position, Arsenal fifth, Manchester United were in sixth or seventh position. But with the win
Mm.
today against Norwich, took them to the fifth position. Now, with the games to go for Arsenal, you I think you touched on it earlier. Where do you see
Yeah.
us?
Sincerely
Eight.
speaking, I don't see Arsenal. I don't see Arsenal picking a point from any of those three games. First of all, they've got Manchester United next first, if I'm not
No, they got
mistaken.
Chelsea. Chelsea on
They've got
Wednesday.
Chelsea on Wednesday. Oh, yeah, Chelsea on Wednesday. They've got United on the 23rd, which is a Saturday, and then they've got West Ham the last weekend in April. So and West Ham is on a high, from qualifying to the semi-finals in Europa League, doing fantastic well against Olympique Lyonnais. And I just feel they'll be all guns blazing compared to Arsenal. I really don't see Arsenal taking 3 points from the next three games. And yes, look, Arsenal even securing Europa League football at this point in time will be difficult.
But in the midweek as well, Manchester United will be playing Liverpool.
Mm,
Tottenham, they are not playing in the midweek, so they will be
yeah,
playing next week. I think they will be playing Brentford, if I'm not mistaken. They
true.
play they play Brentford in the next game,
Mm.
and I just feel either of those teams will drop points along the way before the end of April.
I mean, if,
Tottenham,
if, we're, if we're being honest, the last two game days, competitors have dropped points, and Arsenal has not taken advantage of it. So
that's
I,
the most annoying
I
thing
don't,
here.
yeah, I don't even count on it anymore because, look, Arsenal, look, at the end of this season, if I wasn't an Arsenal fan, I'll be one to start naming Arsenal as Butler's FC because Arsenal has now come up with a trend whereby when they are meant to press further or go to
Hmm.
execute and finish off. That's
Yeah.
when it's like they pull the self destruct button and everything just crumbles and it's their own undoing. And it's sadly that's something that Arsenal is consistent in doing.
So Brentford will play Tottenham
Mm,
next weekend, London Derby, and we know Brentford they're on the high right now, and seeing
yeah.
what Tottenham. play today, they want to come out all out, wanting to compete because we midweek they are not playing. Manchester United and
mm,
Arsenal will play midweek. So should in case
mm,
both teams get a result in that game, so let's say for instance Manchester United wins Liverpool, they go 57 points. So Arsenal wins Chelsea. We go
mm,
57 points. So everybody will be tied on 57 points till the
yeah.
weekend, which Arsenal will be playing Manchester United, which
Mm,
could be another decider, whoever wins it. And Tottenham will be playing Brentford. And I know Brentford team is a very, very difficult team to beat when you
true.
go to their stadium. And I know in the first game against Tottenham, I think they shared points. I don't know if Tottenham defeated them. But really, right now, it's just so sad. It's just so pathetic. It's so annoying. I don't know every adjective I can use for it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not gassed right now. And I don't know how to save face because I already said we're going to make the top four.
Well, it
My
is what
boss,
it is.
my
Is I
boss is
mean,
my boss is an Arsenal fan, and this is what he does. Each time
mm,
Arsenal win, he doesn't come to my office to taunt me. But
okay.
when Arsenal loses, Monday morning is coming to my desk and saying, "Ehis, how far?"
But that's the sad thing about Arsenal. Arsenal have made all their fans the subject of banter wherever they
Yeah.
are. And look, I thought it was going to come to an end sooner than later, but you know what? Tonight might be the last time I wear this Arsenal jersey till the end of the season.
So there's this group I'm on. It's an Arsenal group. Like I don't know, someone
Uh,
added me. The guy knew I'm
okay,
an Arsenal fan, so he
okay,
added me. It's called Gunners Debate,
all right.
and just leaving the group today, man. After the loss,
Obviously, look, people are pained. People take the loss of their football teams differently. I mean, Chimamaka, for example, we know how emotional Chimamaka is about Chelsea, so it is
Chimamaka
different
is
for
an
people.
emotional wimp. I don't know if he's listening right
Yeah,
now. Ever since
but
that thing happened to Chelsea, Chimamaka is just
yeah.
on the low, man.
But then this thing hits people differently, and I think the players need to have more of an understanding that they don't just go to the pitch to play for themselves. It's about the
Yeah.
badge, it's about the club, it's about the fans. The fans are the
You know,
most important aspect of the team.
today, to be fair on the players, Ben White was shitty. Ben
Mm,
White, Gabriel. I don't know. Probably they need to sit on the bench. That's what squad depth does to you because you don't
true.
have any other person. Holding
Yeah.
would have made sense. I think it would have made sense bringing Holding into the
You
game.
know, when I saw what
Benching either of the central backs for Holding to just come in and have a stint rather than these
well
same guys all over again.
well for me, I don't think benching either one of them would have made a difference today because those two are outstanding in terms of quality, right? One, number two, when I saw the change of tactics from Arteta, I said to myself, why didn't he just start Ben White in defensive midfield and allow the likes of Pepe and Co to run into the team? He might have started off with the three at the back, not even play with Cedric, have maybe Martinelli at left wing back, have Saka right wing back, the way they were playing for the last 30 minutes of the game.
Mm.
That would have been the best way to end the game, if you ask me. So I wonder why he didn't start with that in the first place.
And
Then, my point is him having Holding and Gabriel as the major two centre backs, Ben White's just in front of them. So, because at the end of the day, he kind of reverted to doing that. So, but it would be good.
and
It would be good if you have Saliba and Mavropanos come back. Those guys could be good backups for
I think
White.
Mavropanos is done. I think it's done. It's done with Arsenal.
Mm,
I think it's just
mm,
staying in Stuttgart.
yeah,
Saliba is still contentious because we just keep
yeah,
hearing today he wants to come. Tomorrow he doesn't want
mm,
to come. I don't know what's that situation, what's happening there. But
yeah,
another thing I want to point out is it's becoming too much. Don't you
yeah.
think it affects the players as well? Looking at our
It
match
does.
against
Yeah,
look,
he
there's
said
something I
that.
want to point out. There's something I want to point out. Looking at our match against Crystal Palace, our match against Brighton Hove and Albion, the last three
Mm,
matches, don't you think Arteta tweaks the tactics too much during the 90 minutes? And don't you think it will be so confusing to some of the players? And why didn't you just keep it simple? Just keep it simple. Basics of football is simplicity. And that was what Brighton Hove and Albion did when they came to the Emirates. Simplicity.
mm,
He didn't really tinker the tactics. He made a bold move, leaving more pay on the bench.
Yeah.
leaving this other player, and what's his name? Solid match.
Welbeck.
And this
Yeah.
right back, Lamptey. He made a bold move,
Yeah.
leaving those guys on the bench, and he kept it
Hmm.
simple. And they did
Yeah.
the job. So the question is, why can't Arteta just keep it simple?
Well, when you say keep it simple, you're talking about them just sticking to their usual tactics, and really, their usual style of play did not work against Brighton. That's just the truth. So, as a manager, when you notice that what you do best isn't working, the truth is that you need to switch it up. And in terms of how switching tactics affects players, truth is that top class players should be able to adapt to any type of system at any point in time. If you ask me, I don't think that should really be a problem for the players. Also, knowing your
Did you
manager,
notice something today? Did you notice
these
something
are
today?
tactics
Sorry,
that
sorry, sorry,
that they
sorry for
actually.
butting. Yeah, sorry for butting in there because I noticed today in the first half. I think that was what really, really, really dampened our attack. Because look at the
Mm,
first half. Shaka and Saka were covering up for Tav- Tavares, or is it
yeah,
Tavares or
yeah,
Tavares, whatever. If you notice, Shaka really was drifting from the middle, coming back
mm,
to back up, and also what's his name, Saka was had to be drifting backwards in the midfield.
mm,
So it was in the first half that he tweaked things up, and Saka was like, "I'm not having it. I'm staying up front," and Saka kept attacking. So
yeah,
imagine if he had kept to that in the first half. Okay, Saka,
mm,
just keep attacking because Saka started from the left in the first half, and in the second
yeah,
half he went to the right, of which we saw how he impacted the game. So at times I
yeah,
just feel this too many tweaks at times affects the game. For me, my personal opinion, though.
yeah. But just like I was trying to say, I believe that for professional players, I don't think switching tactics should be so much of a problem. One, number two, knowing Arteta, these players would have they would have gone through these systems during training, time after time
Yeah.
again, different patterns of plays. They would have done this consistently. So I don't really think that would have had an effect on them in any way whatsoever. So, the last couple of games that Arsenal have lost, I think there's good enough blame to go around. The players and the manager as well. There is the aspect of exhaustion, talking about the back-to-back games midweek
Come
weekend and
on,
what.
I'm not
But I
having
mean,
that.
yeah, yeah, no,
Exhaustion.
true,
We're
true,
only
no,
playing the
yeah,
EPL for Christ's sake. Exhaustion. Come
exhaustion,
on.
exhaustion,
So
exhaustion
what should
from
a
the
team
same set of players that have been playing 30 plus games this season. That's what I mean.
well
It's always
that's
nice
Arteta's
when you
fault.
can always, yeah. So
That's
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 down to the
Arteta's fault.
manager again. Yeah,
So
that's
right
down to the
now,
manager.
if we don't make the Champions League, Arteta and Edu should take the blame. If it's for you to call
No
the
doubt.
MI5 or MI6 or whatever you want to call, to come
Yeah.
arrest them out of the Emirates,
Yeah.
because what they've done is so diabolical. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. I saw a tweet, someone an Arsenal fan tweeted during the week that how did Arsene Wenger made Champions League back to back with these players and get the players.
Yeah.
I would have that picture to share and get the
Yeah,
players that with that
it
picture.
was it was Chesney, Johan Juru, Carl
Karen
Jenkinson.
Gibbs,
Yeah,
Theo
Kieran Gibbs
Walcott,
was there. Yeah, was
Carl
there as well. Yeah,
Jenkinson,
yeah.
Ramsey.
That just goes to show you the difference in caliber in terms of quality of players. I mean,
No, but were those players
Nunes Espirito
quality than
Santo
what we
had
have now?
no. I said quality in difference in manager,
Okay, I thought
the
you said
manager, not
player.
the players. No, no, no.
Okay,
Pardon me. I meant manager. Difference in terms of quality in the manager and experience. Because take Tottenham for example. Nuno Espirito Santo had the same set of players. That Antonio Conte did take over. Conte switched up tactics, brought in his own system. Things are different for them. So um, there's always a difference in terms of managers and how they operate clubs.
wow. So we look up to Chelsea on Wednesday at Stamford Bridge. It's a London derby, like I say. In a derby, form goes out of the window. But right now, Chelsea will be licking their lips. Chelsea
Of course,
should be licking their lips because
no doubt.
with the way they are, the form they are in, despite the loss that happened, they won the
Hmm.
battle, but they didn't win the war against Real Madrid. They won
True.
convincingly, yeah, but the goal aggregates just took them out of that competition. And we'll
Hmm.
wait to see what they play against Crystal Palace tomorrow in the second semi-final of the FA Cup. And if they win that, that's another morale booster. They will go into that London
Definitely.
debut with heads high. Either way, they lose or they win. it's danger for us because they too they want to cement the third position and see us out. And once we lose against Chelsea on Wednesday, or if we lose against Chelsea on Wednesday, I feel it's time for Arteta to just pack his bag and go
Yeah, he might just need to do the honorable thing and resign.
and
So
resign.
it's up to him. Yeah, it's up
Because
to him.
it's nice doing this with you, Okwe. I would have wanted to do
Always a
this
pleasure.
with high energy, but it's just a pity we lost. And we've dropped 9 points. Just aside on this, I was listening to Sophie. I don't know if you know Sophie and Kevin Campbell. I listen to their podcast very often, and they drew up the schedule, the fixtures we had. That was after our last game before the international break. The last game we won was against Leicester City, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So the draw fixtures and the Kevin Campbell mentioned the draw of the fixtures. We saw Crystal Palace, Brighton, Hove and Albion, Southampton. That was before we meet Chelsea, Man United, and West Ham. And Kevin Campbell said that I don't know if I'm quoting him right here, but he said those games are games that we should win. And looking out at the aftermath of the 3 games, 0 points is disappointing. 0 points after Crystal Palace, after playing
Extremely.
Brighton over Albion and playing Southampton, 0 points. It's a pity. It's a pity. To us Arsenal fans, today I was so sad. I've never felt this emotion before, but it's just a pity.
I can't even feel so bad anymore. I think I've been through worse times as an Arsenal fan. So excuse me, I've been through worse times as an Arsenal fan. So this is nothing. I mean, back in the days when we had the back-to-back defeats from Bayern Munich and whatnot. So now this is nothing for me. I just hope that the management and the owners do what is right for the club going forward.
I, w- I wouldn't want us to even make the Europa Conference League. I
Of
wouldn't
course
want
not.
us
That of course not. Of
because
course
with
not.
the
I
way
don't want
with the
that
way we're
either.
going, I think we could finish seventh. We could finish seventh, and seventh will
Mm,
earn us a place in the Europa Conference League. But
mm.
oh damn!
That's not
Thank
where
you very
Arsenal
much.
football plays today.
Thank you very much, Okwe.
My
Sorry for our
pleasure.
listeners. This is the Arsenal fan corner on Footweet. It's been a while we had an episode, but we just felt we could just come out and talk about Arsenal, and we hope to keep it going to the end of the season. And we're enjoying you. Follow us on our social media platform. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. The, the handle is at Footweet, and also you can listen to our podcast on this platform: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. From us here, we say take care and have a nice weekend. We will be back for the EPL review, let's say tomorrow or Monday, and we hope to see you guys. Take care. Bye.
Peace.